Welcome to Real Estate 360 with real estate expert Kenn Renner.
Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, I
Good.
can't complain. All things considered, more and more people, the vaccine is rolling out. More and more people are getting the vaccine. And
Texas is open for business.
Texas is open for business.
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming. It was a year ago that we sat in the studio wondering what was going to happen.
I know.
And who would have thought that would have been a boom for Austin, Texas? I'm telling you.
It really has. Austin is definitely the housing market. The people selling houses have really benefited from
The
it.
few that are out there, yeah, I know.
Right. Are you still having a tough time?
Oh, we talked last month that we were talking about some of the stories about people lining up for houses, but it's only gotten worse, and we're going to go over those stats today. And really, it's gonna blow you away.
Has
Sandy.
it gone to a lotto system yet?
It's gone to lottos, blind auctions, begging,
Bribery, cheating, stealing, all the things.
Yeah, anything you can do to get a house. It's like we talked about that last show. It's like, hey, buddy, I got a house here in Austin, Texas. You want
Right.
it? You know, it's like, you're gonna have to pay a premium for it, though.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you got to live somewhere, right?
I tell people now that have been here forever, do you really need to live in Austin? Like if they're trying to buy another home,
Yeah.
because it's not that I don't want them to live in Austin. It's just you're selling in a seller's market. You're going to be buying back into a seller's market, and it's absolutely crazy. So.
You pointed something out when we were visiting about someone who some people are making more in the equity of their homes than they are in their jobs.
Oh, in fact, yeah. One of our clients that's, the house has gone up 120,000 a year for the last 3 years. We were laughing in his backyard as I'm taking that listing this week, and it's like he made more money, practically more money in appreciation and not having to do anything.
Right. Now you're just sitting there. Are you going to be able to, I don't want to get you in trouble, to discuss this new listing that you got?
Oh, yeah. We're going to cover that at the very end. It's $1 million listing in Georgetown.
$1 million. I've been in Austin a long time. $1 million listing in Georgetown.
It's 985. So we'll talk about
it'll
that.
be over $1 million.
Well, hopefully.
By the time.
Yeah. And the reason I like this house so much is that if this guy wasn't going to buy it back 4 years ago when I sold it to him, I was going to buy it.
Oh, really?
Pool home.
Yeah.
My wife loves pools, an acre lot, 3,500 square foot, Tuscan style, all the stuff she wants.
Yeah. And please don't get me wrong. Georgetown's a wonderful community, but 30 years ago, there were no $1 million homes in Georgetown.
They actually posted the highest value sale in residential. It was about, I think, 6 or 7 million. Recently, overlooking Lake Georgetown.
Did you see the one that just sold in Austin for $39 million?
Oh yeah, and there was people willing to offer more by 2 or 3% more on top of that.
Really?
On top of that, like walk away from it, I'll give you another couple $1 million. Yeah.
And they just decided to not take the money.
That was the guy who bought it. The guy who bought it had been getting offers multi-million dollars more than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Joe
Joe Rogan bought a $12 million house, right?
Joe can afford it.
Yeah. You're telling me how he.
What part of town did he buy in?
I don't even know, but he
a nice part.
I'm sure.
Yeah, a really nice part.
I'm sure. Yeah. So, they had an interview about a week ago with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's the big guy, the richest man in the world now. Guy's pretty darn smart, the most valuable car company in the world. And right now we're at the epicenter of that.
Yeah.
But, when Elon speaks, people listen. And he said that Austin was going to be the biggest boomtown that the U.S. has seen in 50 years. As soon as he said that, all my investors are ringing my phone off the hook. Oh my gosh, buy. We talked about that. I'm like going, guys, there's not a whole lot to buy out here. And we're going to go over those numbers.
Yeah, talk about a guy that can really move markets. He did it with cryptocurrency. He's doing it with Austin now. Just by a tweet, a simple tweet.
A smart guy who's going to be on we're going to be on Mars within 3 years. He says. What he says comes true. He's got the internet satellites going around circling the globe. Guy's a genius. Got to listen to what he has to say.
The best thing he's good at is raising money.
Oh,
he can raise some money. That's for sure.
It's funny what he said in his podcast with Rogan, in a tweet, said, we just found out that you're the richest man in the world. He says, oh, that's interesting. Now back to work.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
We're keep moving.
So
Let's get to it.
He's a disruptor, man.
Yeah,
he's a disruptor. I like disruptors, and Austin's definitely a disruptor compared to the rest of the United States. So we're going to talk about this. The housing shortage is not even just a housing shortage here in Austin. It's a housing crisis. Mm-hmm. It's compounded by nowhere to buy. We were just talking about it earlier. If you're going to sell a house right now in Austin, you want to buy into Austin, you're going to extreme seller's market, but then you're going back into extreme buyer's market, extreme seller's market. So that's compounding the situation that there's nowhere to people to move to if they want to stay in. So in all price points, and these numbers are going to blow you away. I remember I talked about last month in the podcast. I said, wait till the January numbers come out.
Right.
So we're in the first part of March here. We're about a month behind on our stats from the Austin Board of Realtors. But I do want to say before we get into that, the appreciation rate being over 20% in Travis County. I want to thank you guys, my clients that took action over the last couple of years and bought properties for me. I know there were a lot of people that stood on the sidelines, but I want to thank you guys because you took the action and now you're benefiting and being blessed by it. So Austin's done well for you, and you had faith in what I was doing. So I appreciate your business and your referrals.
Hey, people believe in Kenn. I'm serious. They do. They trust you, and you make them money.
Well, I've been doing it a long time, and integrity is my highest. That's my highest value, right? When it comes to business,
that's all you got.
That's
sometimes
all you got.
Your word and your integrity, and which are kind of the same.
Yeah. So, been doing it a long time. So, anyways, let's look at these numbers. These are incredible. January 2021, Travis County up 22%.
Wow,
22% from last year. So we're talking about if you had a $500,000 house, it's now worth $620,000.
That's insane.
I mean, think about that. It's going up at almost 2% per month.
Yeah.
So I just rented my house out. That's worth about $600 because I moved to my new house in Santa Rita, and I'm looking at we're break even on the rent, but it's going up at the pace of 2% per month, that's $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
I'm making money in my sleep.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So up 22.5 months supply of houses in Travis County. And that's less than a half a month. Oh my gosh, we are in a crisis here. So the next one is we got to go back to
Austin Round Rock
here. Austin Round Rock, up 19%. That's from last year, and 0.4 months supply of houses. Inventory active listings down 73% from last year. Down 73%. Right. Hayes County, which is south of us, a lot of people are like going, would you really do want to invest in Kyle and Buda? Yeah, you do. Up 18% from last year. Check this out. Only 156 houses available in the entire county.
God.
Down 80% from last year, 0.4 months supply of houses. But here's where I live, which is in Williamson County. And that was up 16%. So it's an honorable mention. 16% is still a pretty good clip.
Yeah.
But this blows me away. 0.2 months supply of houses on the market. According to this, is 252 houses on the market. I looked at the stats today for the Austin Board of Realtors for our home market, and it's even lower than that. Single family homes in Williamson County, a county of 685,000 people, 184 houses available in all price points.
So can I ask you a quick question? Is it too late? Is it too hot now?
No, but it's not too late. But if you have to buy something and get in this market, it's very challenging. There is usually 60 to 100 offers on every property. And there are people who are automatically generating offers 10 and 20% higher sometimes and cash, realtors that are doing that. So it's a lot about now, we talked a little bit earlier about that, is who you know.
Yeah.
I mean, my clients, they're former clients, they're retiring, right? Or they're, moving out of state. I mean, we know about those ahead of time. I've sold so many homes over the years, like you said, it's about being in the business for a long time.
And having a good track record. I mean, it's so important. You can't be a brand new 18-month real estate agent. You got nothing to show anybody, right?
It's tough. And I love new agents getting in the business. It's a great business to be in, but I'm like saying there's 15,000 realtors in the city of Austin. The city of Austin has 278 houses in the entire city available.
278. We've got 2 million people living here.
Over 2 million people living here.
Oof.
So how are these guys going to make a living? I don't know, but we are going to offer some solutions. Like you said, it's not that it's completely out of line. One of the things that we're going to talk about is waiting lists. That's what builders are doing, putting everybody on waiting lists. And get on the waiting list. is one thing. It's also be in a position where you're ready, willing, and able. When a lot of our on-site agents that we work with, being able to jump on those ones when somebody falls out or steps aside, they didn't get their loan, and that's why we are creating an incredible database of and personal relationships with all of the on-site agents all across Central Texas, because they're the gatekeepers.
So forgive me if this is an elementary question for someone that's been doing this as long as you have and has had so much success. Is there cash out of pocket to get on the waiting list?
It varies from builder to builder. So some of them require most of them require a pre-approval letter so that they've got a qualified buyer, and maybe a check that they hold in their cabinet until the time comes that they can call you up and say it's time for you to come buy your house. But putting your check down does not reserve the price until you go to contract.
Okay.
So we're seeing sometimes, like in my neighborhood, saw a $40,000 price increase from January to now for a $400,000 house. That's 10% in 1 month. Wow. I know. But they were saying that he wouldn't be able to get into the house until May, and that meant it could have gone up another 40 or 50,000. Who knows?
Right.
So fortunately, they called him up and said, "You're now available."
Let's get this thing under contract before it goes up again, right?
Right. So they're sold out. Waiting lists, lotteries. Pick a name out of a hat. The builders are doing that. Blind auctions. This is
risky.
No, I mean, it's just the way it is. A D.R. Horton house that we sold to a client who'd been out here and missed the boat back in November when they should have bought. But now they definitely did a blind auction, and offering price was $420, and they offered $460, and they got it. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're seeing. We talked about the last podcast about the 152 offers on the one house in Leander.
Yeah.
And then the house in Round Rock that had 96 offers and went for $140,000 more than asking price in a medium price house. So, but I've got to tell you, I missed the story about the lady on the porch. I didn't tell you about the lady on the porch. We were driving around last month, and it was cold. It was sub-freezing weather, and there was a lady on the porch on a Wednesday. And I called the on-site agent who was in. I said, "Is this your maids or your housekeepers coming in? She's sitting on the porch. I'm wondering what's going on." He goes, "It's a Wednesday." It was and midday, and he goes, "No, that's somebody waiting in line. She wants to be first in line to be able to get a house in this community." And I said, "Okay, well, when's it go for sale?" She said, "Saturday."
Oh my gosh.
So she's sitting there overnight with a sleeping bag on the porch from Wednesday through Saturday to be the first.
She's buying that house.
So what happened on Friday, there was a line, and this is sub-freezing weather. Yeah. There was a line down the street with people in sleeping bags and lawn chairs. There was at least 40 lawn chairs of people sitting there, and the sleet was coming to get that 10 o'clock Saturday opening in our subdivision.
Was it open house, or was they no appointments? No, just first come, first served?
It was standing in line to be the first in line. No, fortunately, Scott Felder had a humanitarian effort and said, okay, they had set up a tent. We're offering coffee and all that. Yeah. They said, hey, everybody, it's 10 o'clock. Here's a number. Everybody go home. Yeah. You won't lose your place in line. See you tomorrow morning. So that's the kind of amazing, crazy stories. And it's no fun, really. I've been in these markets in the late 80s in California, but I've never seen anything like it since. So we have new strategies, especially for our investors, because investors were cut off a while back. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's cut off. But for the most part, in Austin, there are very few, if any, investor opportunities, and so you have to take advantage of those that come up and be willing to pay more than they're worth. I mean, more than they're worth, more than they're asking.
What's the old saying? What is something worth? What someone will pay. And
that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. As much as 15-20% over asking price.
Wow.
So one of the things we're doing, and we're good at it, is establishing relationships with the on-site agents, the builders' agents, because they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones that control the inventory as it comes through. Obviously, management makes all the decisions on sale prices and things like that. But there's often, just got one last month where the on-site agent knew he had cash buyers, said, hey, this one fell out of escrow. Do you have a client? I said, of course I do. And she goes, that's why I called you. Mm-hmm. But she goes, I have about a dozen more realtors I could have called, but she called me because I helped her by selling a bunch of houses in her neighborhood. So we're creating an exclusive database from San Antonio to Waco of all the on-site agents in every builder, every subdivision, and we're going to work those guys and gals because we want to help them sell houses, but also they're the ones that have the inventory. They're the first to know that there's something available, and also they know when the areas come up. Like when the subdivision's selling out, I always ask, where are you going to? A lot of times they say, I don't know. But then there's oftentimes they're like getting in on the first of a new section of a new construction subdivision is a great place to be. So we're definitely building those relationships. We're also doing some cool things for them, which is if someone has a house to sell, we will purchase that house and let the owner of that house who's buying the new build live in it and rent it back from our investors until the house is done.
Right.
And it's a great way to do that because that way they don't have to worry about putting on the house on the market, deal with COVID stuff, all that. They already know the house is sold and they're now the tenant and they pay rent and they can move whenever the house is done. They give a 60-day notice and they're out of there. That the mortgage is already gone because it was sold months ago. So the new home builds like that. The builders like that because they have a guaranteed sale. They know it's already done. And our investors love it because they end up with a property that's occupied by the owner who's taking really good care of it and no vacancy, no downtime. So it's a win-win-win for everybody involved. So the strategies are expand your price point. And so we're looking at people now going to $400,000 and $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 to buy investment properties because the median price and below is just incredibly low supply. And also expand your search area. So we have we're going to different submarkets from, like I said, from San Antonio to Waco. And I'm putting together marketing pieces of some really key, awesome little places that I think are amazing value. And I'm not going to put it on the podcast because I don't want everybody and their brother to go rush out there and buy up our inventory. So you got to get a hold of me first. I made that mistake before being too generous with my information. But yeah, so call me, Kenn Renner, 512-423-5626. So this, it's little areas like Georgetown, which is already, everybody knows about Georgetown because Southern Living magazine ranked it as the nicest city in the South. A couple of years ago.
That's good little things like that. Well, those are big things for communities. That's huge.
That's why I moved there. But that's where I got my $1 million listing, and excited about that. It's a Tuscan style home. It's on 1 acre, a little bit over an acre. Amazing living space. I got a gourmet kitchen, an over the top master bath. You got to look at these pictures. And master overlooks this incredible pool. And it's got an outdoor living area and a cabana with an outdoor living area that actually is like a pool house.
Nice.
Has a storage area and shower and a bathroom in there. Like I said, it's the house I would have bought if they didn't buy it. And like I said, it's over an acre. It's in one of the best cities in Texas, and I'm looking forward to getting that on the market and see what happens. How many offers are we going to get on this, Sandy? I don't know.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, it's safe to say.
And guess what? The gentleman works for a high-tech company and can work anywhere, and I'm really jealous of my client because he's moving to Destin, where he's buying a beautiful house on in a waterfront community right there on the beach in Florida.
A friend of mine just bought down there, close to there, Seaside.
Yeah, very close. Yeah. So nice. He's living in paradise and still working, and he's walking away with a windfall because he bought in Austin, Texas.
Good for him. That's right. I mean, hey, there's money to be made and money to be spent. Apparently,
there's more of it than we have housing.
That's right. Yeah. Ken, always good catching up with you. If people want to reach out again, let's give your number again.
Yeah, 512-423-5626, and you can use my online scheduler. It's really cool. Is Call Kenn, Kenn with 2 N's, callkenn.com, and that you can schedule your time whenever it's convenient to you. Thanks a lot, Sandy.
Good seeing you.
Appreciate it.